Dan RadioStyle, that's Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston doing When You Believe. Freaking awesome song. By the way, that's what it sounds like when two angels get together and sing. That's that harmony, that beautiful, beautiful harmony. So hopefully everyone out there is doing amazing. For anyone that's joining on and my thing hasn't refreshed quick enough or whatever the case is, hello. We're going to be doing a little filler, I guess. It's kind of more of a Q&A. I'm kind of curious to see what people can hop on, what people have questions, and see what happens from there. But certainly one of the things that's really important is to remember our general outlook on life, man, is a big difference when it comes to how we manage to change things within ourselves, how we manage to keep our energy good. Again, law of attraction is all about attracting energy, right? So it's a very important thing to keep that energy in a level that is something you would like to experience more of. I guess that's a way. So like whatever we're currently vibrating at is what we're certainly attracting to other people. So I just want to again say hi to all. Q&A, man. Throw some questions out in chat. I've got some filler that I can use to keep us going. Figured I'd do about 30 minutes. We'll see what happens. But certainly excited. I see we got Holly. I think that's right. I think it's Holly. Sorry. Jason's in here. Nice. Sandoval. I mean, that's your whole name, I guess. Lata Narwani and Cindy Lou Ho. Who did I say? I said Cindy Lou Ho. So thank you guys for joining so far. Again, different ways to kind of keep in mind about how we're feeling during the day. What kind of difference are we making? What energy are we vibrating at? You know, because that is what we are attracting. That is the whole principle behind law of attraction, is the energy that we are resonating out is coming back towards us. How we're interacting with other people outside of ourselves is a reflection of what's going on inside ourselves. So as we get that energy good, we can make everything kind of manifest in a kind of simpler fashion, if you will. So one thing, I mean, when you wake up, how do you feel right off the bat? Are you one of these people that's like just does not like hatching, as Agnes calls it? Are you someone that really kind of fights the whole process? Because, you know, that's okay if you are. But we want to try to start the day off. It gives you a chance to look for new, awesome, exciting things that are going to come to you, right? Like, wow, what crazy, wonderful things present themselves. What are going to show themselves with this manifestation that I've got? Maybe your SP or your maybe it's a job or something like that. So what information am I going to find today? What's going to show itself? What extra signs are going to demonstrate themselves to me? I mean, it's every day. There's wonderful magic that waits in front of you. So looking at it from that standpoint can sometimes put a big smile on your face when you're waking up in the morning. All right, so heard of reality transfer? I have. There's a guy, Aaron Doherty, I think his name is. I like him a lot, by the way. I watch him from time to time. He's good. He's talked about it a lot. There's a book. I'm planning on reading it. Outside of that, it sounds... I don't even want to pretend I understand it yet, because the way he describes it, when he goes to describe it, it's like a bullet point, and I really haven't done any further research on it than that. I do, like I said, and I think Pamela even talks about Aaron a lot. I love this guy. He's just got a great energy. He's here to change your world, or whatever his thing is. Maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to do a video with him, because that would be really, really cool. But yeah, Aaron Doherty's really, really awesome. He talks about it. I will definitely do a show on reality transurfing, but I must say I'd like to read the book. It's some Russian guy, I think, and it was written in the 60s. Feel free, if anyone knows off the top of your head what the name of that is. I could do the search myself, but I am currently trying to do a live show, which is not easy unto itself. But anywho, that's how we roll with that. So Holly, great question, and I will definitely do a follow-up video, and I have been planning on doing that. And certainly if anyone else has questions, feel free to pipe in. Oh, okay, we got Renan. I think it is. I'm hoping that's how you say that. Okay, I'm just going to read this. I don't know. I read them anyway because I guess these don't show even after when we replay. So the question is, I was sleeping and suddenly I woke up and sent a message to my Spiffin, or SP. Then my SP immediately replied in a split second. Does it mean I sense my SP's vibe? Any thought, any idea? I mean, that's really, honestly, truly, you're not giving me a whole lot there. That's great. You immediately text them. They immediately texted you back. That kind of implies to me, just that in and of itself, that everything's kind of cool in general, the relationship or the energy between you guys. Does that imply what you're asking? No, but not by itself. There's other things that would go into that. Could be. I don't know. But that I don't know. That doesn't, to me, if you're asking, it's probably not. That's usually kind of my general rule, and I don't mean that to sound snarky or anything crazy like that. It's just generally when you know, you'll feel it. And when you've played with it enough, and this is what you're doing, and I love it. So this is all great stuff. But when you play with it enough, you start to get comfortable with feelings, where they're coming from, who they are, what they are. Like, you have enough mistakes, enough corrects, enough, you get it right enough and wrong enough, and start to figure it out. And it becomes a great way to learn that sixth sense. And it is. It's great. That's exactly what it is. So I love the question, and I love the fact that you're coming from that direction. So very, very good on you. All right. Well, again, we got 19 people on here supposedly right now. Questions, throw them out there. I'm talking about ways we can improve our outlook on life. So, things we can ask ourselves. I'll do one real quick while you guys are maybe chiming in questions. But are we having more good days than bad days? I mean, that's one way we can kind of gauge these things. And again, like last question, for those of you who didn't hear it, was, are we waking up, right? I'm not waking up, sorry. Are we waking up, optimistic? Are we happy to tackle the day, right? So the same kind of concept really applies towards good days and bad days. And that gives you an understanding, at least, where your outlook currently is. And if you want to improve that, if you want to have more good days than bad days, then I certainly, without a doubt, recommend spending some time, trying to get your overall outlook of life. If we're trying to manifest something we don't currently have, law of attraction is supposed to help you get there. So eventually you're going to get that, right? I mean, that's the whole point of doing this stuff. So let's be a little positive about what we're trying to do, and then give it a little time. And I think we'll be a lot of happiness in moving in that direction. This is called hormone levels. Holly. I am missing stuff up here. Hang on. Have you ever heard of reality trans? Yeah, sorry. And then I wake up feeling kind of grumpy, kind of like a link. Okay. Okay. Any recommendations to do align the chakras or hear of anything to help? Yes. I guess part of the question, first off, chakras are great. I've done a thing on them way back, really early on when I first created my channel. I did chakra videos. So I actually recommend taking a listen to those. I covered each chakra and what they represent. Without a doubt, I think chakras are a pivotal thing. I recommend maybe getting a couple crystals. Go to a crystal fair. Go to a place that maybe sells crystals. Find a couple that you feel comfortable with if you're really early on. A quartz can be really good. And then, for the other hand, find something that just catches your eye. And that, I think, will help you find that other balance. And then you'll just figure out what hand they feel right in. Seriously, it's all about feeling. And when it feels right, you got to go with it. You got to run with it. So the chakras, without a doubt, make a big difference. I could do a whole funny little show on that just in and of itself over the past number of years, and how the lower chakras and upper chakras, believe it or not, everything above and below 3 and 4, right? Like 3 is the cutoff, right? 3 and down are the lower chakras. Up above, you got the higher ones. Believe it or not, there's not higher or lower in a bad sense. They're all needed, and it's so cool. It's super cool. The lower ones kind of root you in reality, and the upper ones kind of root you in spirituality, and they're all important. So good stuff. Good question. Like I said, I've done videos on it. I'd recommend at least starting there. Hopefully, if you like me at all. But it was way back when. You'll see the little 3 penguins standing in a circle. It was the icon I used to use. Okay, Amy, hi, by the way. Dan, I manifested my person back in all forms, except he was still in a relationship with the girl he started seeing a year ago when we broke up. We spoke yesterday, and he admitted that there is an amazing connection between us, but he is with her. He doesn't want to hurt anyone, but has feelings for both of us. Do I keep up the self-love and picturing us together? Would love to chat more in depth. I'm sure that would be rad. Amy, it's always about continuing. So the one thing, this is a great little side step, if you will, for all of you that asked this kinds of questions. This is Amy, this is wonderful. Thank you for showing this for all of us. But there's so many of us that get stuck looking at our feet when we're walking, looking at where we're at right now. If we're trying to manifest something that we don't currently have, then understand that it's out in front of us to some way, shape, or form. The dimension of time is somehow playing a part in this creative process. No question about it. That's just how it works. So if you don't currently have it, which a lot of us spend too much time staring at, looking at our feet going, I don't have it now. when the reality is that's what you're creating. That's what's out in front of you. That's the beauty of why we're learning this power of our thoughts and our processes and our the way we feel, the way we think, what we do, what we say, what we think, what we say, what we do. Those are the ways you manifest. I say this a lot. What your beliefs are, kind of the cookie cutter end of it, right? If you're making star-shaped cookies, you need a star-shaped belief, basically. Or if your reality is not coming to fruition, sometimes we have beliefs such as he'll never get over this, or we'll never get, right? We have these weird reoccurring thoughts in our heads that sometimes I think will hold us back. So this is a great thing. When you're trying to manifest, look out, look ahead, look at what you're doing, and spend less time where you're at right now and realize that these things are manifesting, these things are occurring. And as they do, you'll see signs and symbols and all this stuff. All this really cool stuff will demonstrate it to us. So he's talking, you guys are talking, you're dialoguing, Amy, you specifically. That's good, right? So he's already questioning things that are currently existing. I see that as a very positive thing. Stay back. Don't break lines artificially. Make him hold true. Don't be giving the freebies while he's doing the other, because what he does to her, he's going to do to you. So kind of try to be smart in that regard. I'm not so prissy or prime or prim or proper or whatever, where it's like, hey, don't have fun when you're out of marriage. But I'm just saying, don't break lines, because you're putting some karma kind of within your own thing. So I'm just saying. All right, amazing. Okay, who else we got here? What do you think about dreams? This is from Lata Narwani. What do you think about dreams? Are dreams the universe's way of telling us something in the form of a sign? I think in small cases, small percentages, 15, 20% of the time, right, maybe. A dream certainly can give you answers to questions, can give you answers that you are seeking. They can certainly come in the form of signs. A lot of dreams, and especially the deeper, more soul-related, more deep connection back to our higher selves, those ones, without a doubt, will create some really crazy signs and symbols, right? So those are weird. But then every once in a while, you have those dreams that are very real. Like you end up with your SP, for example, right? And you're holding each other, right? And it's super powerful. And those moments are very real to the 3D from a real life kind of standpoint, not crazy up in the spiritual higher self area, but down here in normal, here's where I spend all my conscious self, right? My ego side, if you will, right? So there's different levels to how that plays out in dreams. And I don't know, I want to say I've done some shows, do searches in my channel for dreams, just put that in the title and you'll find probably a lot of stuff, but definitely, without a doubt, dreams are something that I think are important. I think you should listen to them. I don't think they're all real black and white. They kind of vary. There's a spectrum. And like I said, there's some psychological things. There's spiritual life evolution. There's a lot of things that'll come in your dreams. But certainly when you go to bed at night and ask questions, all of you, when you go to bed at night and ask questions, know that your dreams are a very possible place where these answers will come. And certainly a place that I would seek first. Like I'm going to bed right now, and I talk about being happy when you wake up. That's supposedly going to have this little backstory about how help our outlook in life, whatever I'm calling this, right? But we have that whole backstory going on, trying to be positive. But certainly that's one of the things is, can I even have some dreams prior to just right after I fall asleep, right after consciousness drifts? Can I wake up tomorrow with an answer? That would be cool. So dreams, awesome. Love it, love it, love it. All right. I was just getting into crystals. Blah, blah, blah. Love you. Oh, you're really awesome, Joe B. Let's see here. What we got? Donna, you're awesome. I've seen that picture before. I think Instagram probably. I don't know. I remember you from somewhere. Anyway, all over the place. You are an amazing. What? No, I'm not going to say that out loud. That's really nice of you to say. Thank you. But I can't say nice things like that. I went through the dark night of the soul. Very good. I like these kinds of things. Flow right. We just talked. You sent me an email. I haven't really read it yet. It was really long. So again, challenged on emails. I try really hard to get to them. I just, so I will read that. Yes. So since then, my manifestations have been working quickly. It is this, I went through the dark night of the soul about 12 years. Oh, and since then, my manifestations have been working quickly. Is this because the universe has speeded up or my vibration? So the dark night of the soul, generally, is the big moment before, your revelation, right? Like the lowest, the dark of the dark. I don't know, suddenly the change is before you. Suddenly the dawn starts breaking. And usually the way it plays out is the change actually occurred prior months, weeks, whatever. And the dark night's just like that. Finally, the pendulum has swung far enough to where now the sunlight comes in, or now the light of day shows itself. Usually that pendulum's already started swinging but it just appears as the dark night of the soul. Needless to say. Once we go through that, that's usually a major life change, major revelation. And when we go through those, I frequently talk about it in my videos. When we change as people, it's a big part of why these relationships exist in our life, is to affect us personally, so we grow and change and develop as souls, right? So when we go through these soul evolution moments in life, we will tend to see manifestations change quickly. I did a show recently, I think, for sure, where I was talking about the more you evolve spiritually, and I don't mean this in any ego way at all, but the more we evolve spiritually, the more you are... the quicker manifestations just tend to happen. It's really the reality of it, right? It's just how it is. Martial arts, kind of similar concept, where the further into it you go, the more and more you learn about it, the more bricks you can break, or the more katas you can perform, whatever. The more stripes you've got on your belt, for sure. So there's a lot of power in all that, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Okay. Oh, okay, so we got, I hope I'm saying your name right. Arlen, I'm hoping. Enlerlin. I can't say it. Anyway, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me, by the way. What techniques would you suggest for manifesting going back to school for nursing and succeeding when you have current beliefs you are not smart enough? Well, too old. Okay, well, there's your answer. First question for all of you that are working on coaching, right there is first place that we start. But would writing and saying affirmations be enough to change these negative beliefs? Well, they can. Now, what I recommend frequently, and I'm just going to cover this this is kind of a good topic, sort of answers your questions, but I definitely do videos on these, and a lot of people do. But one of the important things to come from this is these stinging beliefs that hold us back, where we're not smart enough, not good enough, not whatever, right? We can do affirmations, which is kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a wound, right? You got a wound that's maybe infected or whatever, right? And you just keep putting a Band-Aid on it. You keep putting a Band-Aid on it, and it keeps getting grosser and grosser and grosser, and you keep putting a Band-Aid on it, right? Eventually, at some point, either A, you need to treat it, or B, it festers into something that you end up having to deal with. You have to deal with it now, right? Because now you've got to go to the doctor, for example. Or in the case of relationships with people, things will pop up. It will force you to confront and talk to these people and talk to these issues. So as that happens, right, sometimes we've got to deal with them. But sometimes you can get that kind of inclination that it's coming, and it shows you that, I'm losing my train of thought, but it'll show you, like, after the affirmations, putting the Band-Aid. There you go. So sometimes when you really want to do is you want to look at the core of the problem. What's the core of the problem? What is really causing me to question whether I'm smart enough or good enough? Was there maybe a parent in the past that used to always say, you're stupid, you're stupido, right? They used to always say some sort of thing that was demeaning. Well, look at that, embrace it. Go, yes, that is part of who I am, and let go of it. Don't keep talking about it, don't keep living it, or whatever. Or look and find that part, that little girl maybe that kept making mistakes and always was embarrassed and never felt good enough. When we look at the part that's causing the wound and focus on that, you make a huge difference in everything else, because you no longer need the Band-Aid. Now the wound, now you're putting Neosporin on it or Bactine on it or some sort of antiemetic. I throw in, this would be a great place for some sort of ad for antiseptic stuff. But again, that kind of thing can happen. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And yes, affirmations are always good. There's never a bad time for affirmations. Thanks, Rob. Kim, can I? Yes. Somehow, sure. Cindy Lou, Dan, I'm not looking for signs, but, right, I love that. You gotta love that too, right? I have seen positive things. That's good. Since things are going slow for me and him, seeing positive signs, is that wishful thinking? Yes. If you know what's occurring and you're just wanting to see signs to what? Confirm you know? Think about where you're coming at from that whole questioning. You know what's happening. So, if you're maybe bored with the timing, or maybe, right? Maybe there's other things you can kind of focus on and do and be, or maybe there's a way that it can be engaged more, or who knows, maybe you actually go and visit if you're who I think you are, or whatever. Like, I feel like there's a town difference of maybe a couple hours or something along those lines. But whatever the case is, there's a way around it, but I don't think necessarily asking for signs, that kind of implies to me typically, usually, that in this case anyway, that we're questioning it and we're doubting. And if you're looking for signs to prove, that doubt's wrong, well, the doubt's the sponsoring thought. That's the part that's important to remember. Like, why is there doubt? You know this is working. You know this is, especially if you're who I think you are. You know this is working. So I think we're okay on that one, right? All right. Stan, welcome, sir. And I'm a little behind on some of these. Oh, that's good. No, we're pretty close. How do you learn to discipline, I guess is what you're saying, typical Stan. But how do you learn to discipline your horse so it doesn't eat up all your sugar cubes? Wow, that's deep on like a lot of levels, man. Like we could really just like open up like the whole like, why does the candle like not burn the wick all the way, but yet the wax gets developed, right? Like, wow. How do you learn to discipline the horse so it doesn't eat up all the sugar cubes? I sort of don't really fully understand the question. The depth of it is probably beyond my. You really can't put all your eggs in one basket is a phrase we have that comes to mind right now, right? When you really need to kind of spread out and develop. There's not just one area maybe in life that needs some attention. There's always more than one, especially for anyone that kind of is under the impression where I'm just working on manifesting my specific person. Understand there's other aspects of your life that really need attention. And if you spend too much time just focused on getting your person back, you get out of balance personally, and that can be bad in its own right. So again, keeping that balance is a good thing. And I don't know if it answers your sugar cube question in any way, shape, or form, but tried. Okay. All right, Mr. Stan. We're not Mr. Stan. It's actually Stan McNair. I'm not making fun. It's just fun. I name the ego. Oh, I like this. Cool, good question. No matter where we go with this has got to be good. I name the ego an animal's name, and whenever it shows itself, I say something like, yes, Pookie. That's right, Pookie. It helps create space between you and the ego while not identifying with. Is there more to go, resisting or feeding it? Yes. Now, I love what you're saying, so 100% on board. The only small tweak I would make, Stan, sir, is I would try not to be, if Pookie's a good name, because I've used that in a very loving term with girlfriends in the past, or a girlfriend specifically, anyway. So Pookie kind of means something cool to me. And it kind of inhabits a sort of a love and endearing. Now, if it's meant in sort of more of a mean kind of way, there's no reason to hate the ego. The ego is here to do its part. It's here to help. It's here to deal with right now, real world, earth, like where's water? I'm thirsty. Like ego's there to help you, right? It's not very helpful when it comes to the spiritual stuff and trying to evolve our understanding and beliefs and all those things, right? So that's where the ego is not so good, right? And that's the part that's always looking and going, why don't I have this right now? Looking at our feet and saying, I don't have it. That's the ego usually. So yes, it does get in the way, but no, it's not bad. So no need for name calling per se. That's the only thing. And maybe you weren't. Maybe that's not your point at all. It might have been, it might not have been. That's the only, other than that, dude, Stan is on the money. Really, the ego is something that will get us in a funny place more than we want it to. All right, so Angelina, this looks new. I'm just going to read, so I don't know what's going to go on. Hey, Dan, happy to see you. Thank you. I'm happy to see you. Okay, I'm not saying that, but yesterday I stalked my crush. Hope that's just more playing with that word. His family and ex-girlfriend on Facebook. Stalked them all. Gotcha. I found the video of her and him 4 years ago, and I feel jealous. I was sane for a long time. How did I get so insane? Well, Angelina, that's a great question. Many of us have asked this question. We don't know. It's really important, again, just a good place to kind of go right now. This is why we don't do this. This is why a lot of us that are teachers, coaches, all these things, suggest not doing this. When you stalk past people, it does tend to bring up feelings. Also, when you see that they're with other people, not a good thing either, because it generally does bring some of that jealousy up, right? Because we have feelings for these people. So just even doing that to ourselves, it's like knowing that playing with matches is fun, and when you hold them down to where they get hot, I don't know, such a bad analogy, but hold them down to where they get hot, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it burns, right? Like you're hurting yourself. Don't. It's cool. It's interesting. It's curious. Horrible analogy where I'm running with it because I have to. Again, don't keep doing it. Don't keep burning your finger. Not worth it. Not good. And it's not going to benefit you in the big picture. Try to keep looking out and ahead and further out. And we are all crazy. That crazy is good stuff. Okay. Is Kundalini? No, I don't stand. I don't believe Kundalini is evil. So if that, hopefully that's right off the bat, you're like, I hate this guy, or oh, he's okay, because that's a very dividing question right there. But I don't think it's evil. Anyway, typical Stan. Learn to make people your own. They already belong to you. Oh, they come from the same soil and breath in the same area you expel. You are connected. So connected, yes. Now, your wording, and I don't know if this is a language thing with English versus second language. I don't know, and I don't mean this in any sort of negative way, but make people your own. I don't like that per se. Maybe this is a problem here. I don't know, but we don't own anybody. We own ourselves for the most part, right? I mean, we should anyways, and if we aren't, we really need to work on that. But we don't own anybody else. Everybody is their own individual being here co-creating with us. That's the fun of this, right? So this whole us pushed out, I get, but they're not us. It's not like that. They are their own being, and we're sharing this place. It's pretty cool that way. All right, Nina Murcielago, right? Something like next to the lake. I forget. I need to remember that. But anyway, Nina. Having trouble communicating with my higher self. Any suggestions? Well, I would hope you would maybe give me a little bit more if you could, but I'll start yammering just a wee bit to sort of stall. Now, of course, communicating with our higher self, I consider that just right off the bat, meditation is one of the best places. Depending on some of our health habits in life, per se, one of the best places to meditate, if you really want a good, clean, pure place that you can get away with a meditation, get away with a for sure good connection kind of thing, if you will, the shower. The water coming over your aura and over your energy is actually kind of a baptismal thing. It might sound crazy, might not, but that whole process actually allows for a much cleaner connection, if you will, and it helps actually purify our auras as well anyway. So that can kind of help. That's one thing, and then we'll see if you've added anything since. It's not so much. So that's what pops into my head right now. Maybe that's actually good advice for the moment. I don't know. No, I like you. Oh, thanks, Dan. That's awesome. Time worked out. Reagan, typical. Let's see here. Okay. Rob, which YouTubers do you like to watch and find valuable? I don't necessarily want to get into that because I think each of our journeys are our own, and I think just putting a painting with a broad brush like that can be bad. And I actually watch some kind of more crazier stuff, I think, too, just because I'm very interested in there's a few fronts that I'm following on this planet right now that intrigue me. So some of it ties around that, too. Let's see. Good. Well, thank you. Okay, so let's see. I got some people back here. Angelina, any way for me to clean up the mess I've done? Because today I feel physically bad after being crazy yesterday. Are you talking about just the fact that you've actually seen things and now you're bummed about it and it's causing damage? Yeah, time will help fix that. Some affirmations, definitely staying away from that behavior further is a good thing. It's kind of like if there's a drug that's bad for you, stop doing the drug, and you can say, well, is there an easy way to make the drug something I don't desire to do? No, there's not. That's part of stopping the drug. I quit smoking. Just for those that maybe don't know this about me, I smoked for a lot of years. 5 years ago almost, I quit, stopped is really what I say. And it was cold turkey and everything. And it was something where I was finally done. And so, you can't keep going back to that thing, that vice that gets you. So you got to learn to control that. That's one of the things I think that I'm trying to stutter my way through. Okay, so we got just Jocelyn. I stopped meditating and visualizing so much. And now I see his name everywhere. It's a unique name. Does this mean anything? Well, you've put a lot of energy towards it. So one of the things I like to talk about, I don't spell it out per se when I talk about letting go. One of the powerful things about letting go is the fact that you are not trying anymore. And you'll start to notice that these things are still happening. You start to realize that a lot of momentum has been created already. So you can just stop doing work and it still keeps coming. And in fact, it's us that always put the handbrake on that keeps slowing it down. And that's what letting go, one of the first things that you'll see when you let go and stop doing the work is you continue to see their names and see things that show up to remind you of them because you've done a lot of imaginal work. There is a ball rolling towards that. You're going to probably at some point have a face-to-face encounter with them, and whether you want to continue forward with them or not, might very well be up to you, but you've already done a lot of work, so it's probably going to happen. Just saying. This stuff works. There's no question about it. We can handbrake ourselves as much as we want. Eventually, we get out of our own way, and things start to happen. Chris, I haven't seen you pop up. Frazi? I don't even know how to say it. Frazy? It's pretty cool. It sounds like a dessert, whatever it is. It should be. You're a dessert, Chris. Whoever you are a dessert, sir. Not to me, per se, but to someone, I'm sure. Manifesting my significant other. Cool. But she's in a relationship. In the process of letting go, is it okay to date other women? Or is that somehow counterproductive to the manifestation process? Chris, I'm going to be honest, especially coming from where I did, and I did a show recently called Something to the Strength to Walk On, something like that, and it really had a lot to do with me just moving on from my situation. Not a lot. A couple people got really angry with me. For the most part, everyone was pretty understanding. And yes, that is part of this process. And I think it's a really healthy thing to consider. If you're at that place of letting go. Some people are like, la, 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 I can't do it, and that's fine, because I think we ultimately can have whatever we want. It might take a while, might not. I always think there's a way to get there. That's the only, time is really the variable that I haven't been able to figure out how you guarantee how long this thing's going to take, right? I've found that that's more of a hit and miss, and you kind of grow your way through it. So, unfortunately, that's what I know. Okay, we're probably getting close to the end of this. I think it's really long in the big picture. Cindy, you've got one more question here, and I think it's probably a good one. I don't know. How do you feel about tarot cards? Love it. There are a couple people I look at. Some people feel it's more negative, does more harm. Just curious. I understand that there's free will. Things can change. Yes, always future telling from that standpoint. I don't just lump tarot into that per se. Any sort of psychic stuff, I totally am into psychics, don't get me wrong, completely. But they are telling what's the energy around you right now. They're telling you your probable future right now. You could change part of what's creating that probable future right after they tell you, hey, this is what you're going to experience. And then you can change that feeling and vibe. And from doing that, you will realize, or you will actually alter your future. Because it's a future. There is no guarantees about your future. I could say this will definitely happen. You'd be like, oh my God, this will totally happen. And then something happens that should have led into something else, invited you to a party, and then this thing happened, right? That's not how that sometimes plays out, right? You got to, sometimes, I don't know. I was, where I was going. Yeah, tarot. So the future, yes. So sometimes the future's not written in stone. Tarot cards, love them. I think they're really good, and I actually think if it's something you're interested in, there's probably a lot of great videos that'll teach you how to use them. I recommend getting a set, getting ones that really jump out at you. That you're like, yes, I love that. It just grabs because that'll be the ones that will resonate with you. And then get some sort of book on it that helps you do different throws. And you'll actually be surprised at some of the really, really cool stuff you can do with the deck of tarot cards and a couple different throws, a couple different patterns, a couple different where the cards, what they are, what they symbolize, if they're upside, downside, all that stuff. It's very cool and fascinating, and certainly done a lot of work with that before in the past. All right, can I do a video about making more money? Yes, I have in the past to a degree, but I certainly can do a video about making more money. I've certainly managed to manifest some pretty cool stuff in that regards to my life recently. Certainly working a bit more of a hectic schedule, possibly. That's kind of stretching it a little, but certainly a giant raise and wonderful experience. So hopefully everyone out there's doing really good. We're gonna go out with a good song here, and I love you guys. And I'm sorry I finally caught your live. Hey Tina, nice. I'm glad you finally made it in here right at the end, mind you, because I think this has been going on for a while. I have no idea how long. 33 minutes apparently. So that's pretty long. But thank you all for joining me. I managed to get through 3 of these outlooks, try to make your outlook good in life. I just wanted to do more of a Q&A that was kind of live, so who knows what I'll end up calling this. I'll probably change the title to Q&A or something. But thank you guys for joining. You guys are the best. Going out with a great song by the band is called Fun, and they're playing a song called We Are Young. It's right here on Dan RadioStyle.
So it's ready.